This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLisio and Kenny Burgamy.
Wow, halfway through the month of May, where on earth did time go? Huh? Hi, everybody. So glad you tuned in for another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLisio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Yes, time flies, and so does the show once we get going. Coming up on the program, the Monitor talks to a prominent veterinarian who says he, along with a team of researchers, have developed a promising vaccine in the ongoing fight against avian influenza. You poultry producers will definitely want to hear what he has to say. And speaking of poultry, Damon Jones profiles the new man in charge of UGA's poultry department. The reason why Dr. Todd Applegate says he left a great job in Indiana to come to Georgia.
Plus, in just a short amount of time, they have become stars of the internet. The popularity behind the Berry College Eagles and the amount of care that goes into making sure they remain at Berry College. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, we couldn't let the spring go by without a focus on this year's strawberry crop in South Georgia. And as you're about to see, it's been a busy season for Calhoun Produce in Turner County. We've featured Calhoun Produce on the Farm Monitor in years past, and it's always worth the trip just off the interstate to see the year-round farming operation.
It's been good weather so far. Rains have been coming steady. If we can keep the rains coming once a week, Saturday night, we'll be just right. We won't interfere with the agritourism. We need the rains in the field, but we don't need them when we got kids out here. But so far, it's been a good year so far.
The family business owned and operated by Gerald and Joyce Calhoun, their son Brad, and daughter Sheila.
My whole family's involved in this, and hopefully my kids will come back to this. And it's been in the family all my life. My daddy started this many years ago with row crop. We're a family business here, and we are family oriented, and when you come on our farm, you'll see that we are family oriented. We're all put in all we can to this.
Mother does books, daddy's on the tractor. Oh, he's 70-something years old, and he wants to be on the tractor, and that's where he'll die on the tractor, I'm sure, but it just takes all of it. Sheila's in the office, she sets up a lot of the paperwork stuff, and then I do a lot of just a manual labor. I'm just a mechanic, I think, sometimes, but it takes all four of us, and then our children. My son graduates this year, and he may go to college to have an ag degree, but he wants to still farm also, and her two children also farm.
The Calhouns known for their main crop of fresh-shelled butter beans and peas, but that doesn't happen until June. Right now, families enjoy the spring by picking strawberries from the 2.5 acres in Turner County.
They look really good. We started strawberries early this year, actually started in late February, so it's been a good crop this year. We've had some rain the last few weeks that we've lost a few berries due to that rain, but we still hope to go to the end of May.
Sheila told us she's most proud of the interest from local schools as they help educate young students about agriculture.
We do field trips every day until school gets out. And we love that. We love seeing the kids here. Like today, we're packed out with kids and families, and it not only educates the kids, it educates the mamas and daddies and, everyone.
The operation includes so much more than just strawberries. As you can see, it's an educational place to bring children, and the adults do enjoy picking strawberries during the season.
It was wet and cold to start with. It's drying out now, and we're still getting a few showers here and there, so right now, I couldn't ask for anything better.
For more information or directions to Calhoun Produce, just log on to the address you see. That is calhounproduce.com.
Meanwhile, some promising news for poultry producers not only here in Georgia, but across the U.S. Researchers at Kansas State University and Mount Sinai say they have developed a vaccine that protects poultry from multiple strains of avian influenza, including H5N2, which killed millions of chickens and turkeys during the spring and summer of 2015, leading to billions of dollars in lost revenue for the U.S. poultry industry. One of the researchers involved, Jürgen Richt, a distinguished professor of veterinary medicine at Kansas State University, tells the Farm Monitor that what makes this vaccine different from others is that it has the ability to differentiate infected animals from vaccinated animals, something commonly referred to as DIVA.
This is very critical if we want to keep our export markets open, even in the presence of vaccination. So only if we have DVAR-compatible vaccines, we can show that animals are vaccinated but not infected, and that this gives us a way to keep our export markets open. It's very critical that we can produce these vaccines fast, that we can produce it in the United States, so we have our own production facilities here. We don't have to import them because we have to adapt them to the U.S. situation. And it's very critical that we have this DVAR compatibility if we want to keep the export markets open.
Richt went on to say that because it's live, researchers believe eventually the vaccine could be sprayed into the air or put in the water supply so that when the chickens need a drink, they could be vaccinated. He says those theories are being tested as we speak. Now, meantime, with poultry being the #1 industry in the state, staying on the cutting edge of both technology and research is essential to Georgia's economy.
That's the purpose of UGA's Poultry Science Department, who recently hired a new department head. David Jones now tells you about the plans for the future.
The University of Georgia is one of just 6 poultry departments left in the United States, and the Georgia Farm Bureau Poultry Committee recently got an up-close look at some of the research currently being done. The one Dr. Brian Fairchild was most excited about was the ongoing work on heat stress management.
So basically we need to be monitoring our water consumption. It's a good opportunity to see how the birds are performing in the house. And that lighting programs do impact our birds during heat stress, and how birds perceive light coming in through the fans. The type of fan they choose may let in more light than a previous fan type or shutter type might. But all of that can affect how the birds perceive day length.
One of those in attendance was the new department head, Dr. Todd Applegate, who is more than excited to be with the university.
I had most recently a position at Purdue University for the last 15 years in research and extension. Wanted to get a little bit more impactful on what I could do for the poultry world, and wanted to essentially move to the largest poultry state and to a poultry science department, both of which were big drivers for me to come here to Georgia.
With the poultry industry having such a huge impact on the state's economy, having this department right in its backyard is a big advantage for producers around Georgia.
I feel we are at a crux of providing that critical knowledge base then back to the industry. We tie in all the way from growers on the farm all the way through the processing plant, touching all aspects of that production phase. Essentially taking then that innovation and helping innovation be applied into their everyday business.
One of the main goals for the department is to attract more students by showing them just how diverse the industry is. And one of the main selling points is job placement.
In the end, when I'm choosing a degree, at least that's what I did when I was going through school, I was choosing a degree that I could make sure I was going to be employed and could make a living at and do well. In the poultry industry, fits those needs. We have 100% job placement in our major, and most of them, when they graduate, they already have a job in place. It's not one of those majors that you graduate and then you start looking for a job.
While he is still new to the job, Dr. Applegate hopes to get this department the recognition he feels they deserve.
The base of our faculty are doing amazing science, amazing things. I want to be able to be a voice and a conduit for them into the rest of the world to make sure that we're nationally and internationally more recognized for the work that we're doing going forward.
Reporting from Athens, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you very much. Well, in Mount Berry, Georgia, they are the talk of the town. They're also a big hit on social media. When we come back, the story on how the Berry Eagles became an overnight sensation.
Hey, my name is Eddie Ellsbury. I'm Director of Sustainability for Berry College here in Mount Berry, Georgia. The eagle nest was first noticed in 2012 at Berry College, and at that time it was late in the eagle season. It was around April. Some students noticed the nest. They reported it to Dr. Renee Carlton here. We come out on site and saw that it actually was an eagle nest. The next year was the first successful nest that we had. And since then, we have had a successful nest each year, and the two birds in the nest now are B6 and B7. We started out with just the approach camera. It's a camera sitting away from the nest, viewing the nest tree here, and that seemed to be a successful venture. So we decided, let's move on into the nest and see if we can install a nest camera that will allow us to peep into the eagles' lives through the nesting season. And obviously it's been a great hit. We have world viewers, countless viewers, and it's just been so successful. We're always working on it, tweaking on it. It takes a team of several people to make this happen. It's not just a one-person team. It's actually a team of about 6 staff members, and numerous students are involved in it.
Well, we noticed in the first couple of years that we were getting so many questions from people about the eagle's habitat and just their whole mating process and the growth of the eagles. And we were answering a lot of questions on Facebook and email and phone. And then we heard from teachers saying that we are watching the eagles in our classroom on our smart boards, and we're incorporated into our science lessons. And so we were so excited about that because, you know, we are a college and we love that people are using this as a way for education. So our education school faculty developed lesson plans for teachers to use, and they're downloadable on the Eagle website that we have. And so we've had teachers that have used the lesson plans and kids that send us letters that they've written to the eagles or artwork that they've done about the eagles.
This past season, when we swapped out the cameras, we were able to get up into the nest and measure the nest and do some calculations on weight, size, that type of thing. The nest measured out 93 inches across, which is larger than a king-size mattress. You can actually get a king-size mattress and lay it on top of the nest. That puts it into perspective how large the nest is and also how large the eagles themselves are. So, the nest depth is roughly 38 inches, and we calculated the weight based on the woody material around, and it calculated out to about 1,600 and some odd pounds.
It's been really great that it's brought the eagles into classrooms and into schools and nursing homes all over the place. The people are learning about a little more about nature than they knew before.
Well, every year the Georgia Cattlemen's Association names a new president for the organization. That individual will spend the entire year traveling the state to help grow and strengthen the membership organization.
This year the president is Kyle Gillooly of Wadley, and the Monitor's Mark Wildman paid him a visit on his farm.
On this farm in Jefferson County is where current Georgia Cattlemen's Association President Kyle Gillooly loves to be. He manages Smith Angus Farm and CES Polled Herefords, which is the farm of his wife's grandfather, Charles Smith. A native of Indiana, Kyle grew up farming and raising cattle. He also has always been willing to give back to the cattle industry and feels the Georgia Cattlemen's Association is a great voice for beef cattle producers.
It's an honor to serve an outstanding membership. It's an honor to have the encouragement and support of some of the leaders I've been able to work with the last several years on the executive committee. And so to have their support to step up and play this role is an honor for me.
During the next year, his feet will be on this farm a lot less, but the work he will be doing will help all of the members of GCA.
I look at it as a connection between the membership and our staff to be a voice for them, to encourage them to have their own voice and to step out and talk about the cattle industry and tell their story of how they do their operations, how they work, how they raise beef, and just to be an encourager for them to step up and play a bigger role in our industry.
Will Bentley is the Executive Vice President of the Georgia Cattlemen's Association. He works full-time for the organization and feels that rotating a new president in every year is good for the organization.
It's an important part of what we do because it allows us to get fresh ideas and fresh leadership every year. Oftentimes we'd love to have those ladies and guys for more than 1 year, but we understand that it's important to keep moving forward, to keep bringing in new folks and new leaders from around the state.
He and Kyle will be meeting a lot this year and discussing important issues for the Georgia beef cattle producers.
It's an important role as the president of GCA. You're really the leader of an industry that has a $1 billion farm gate value as of the last data that came out from the University of Georgia, and an economic impact of over $5 billion. So the role as president of the Georgia Cattlemen's Association is very important. So we do a lot of discussions about legislative issues. Over-regulation is one of the quickest ways to impact our industry. So we talk about that a lot. We talk about some of the marketing, the health of cattle. The cattle health and well-being is an important part of what we do as producers in the state and as an association.
It may be a tough year for Kyle, but the work he will be doing is vital for all of agriculture.
We have a lot of issues that require our attention from legislators, our congressmen and women, not only here in Atlanta, but certainly in Washington, D.C. And we have a strong voice from our opposition, people that are anti-agriculture, people that are out to bring down the meat animal industry. And we know firsthand that the more people on our side to tell our side of the story, the better off we'll be.
Reporting from Wadley, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, well, just a reminder, if you missed any part of the story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. That is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archive of stories dating as far back as 2009.
And once you're done watching all those informative stories, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page we've set up for you. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address listed below. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Farmers and ranchers need government support, not opposition. That's the message American Farm Bureau leaders had hoped to convey to members of Congress recently. While testifying before the House Ag Subcommittee, Illinois Farm Bureau President Richard Goobert said that low commodity prices, tightening credit, expansive land, and rising cost for expenses such as seed and fertilizer will lead to financial losses for many farmers and ranchers this year. He also encouraged Congress to help farm and ranch families endure that difficult road ahead.
In 1985, it cost $110 in inputs for an acre of corn, not counting land costs. This year, I estimate that cost will be around $475 per acre. Our seed cost averaged $72 for a bag of seed corn in 1985, and this year it'll average a little over $340 per bag.
After the break, the Monitor takes a trip to Cobb County for the first ever Georgia Farm and Erosion Control Expo. See why Farm Bureau leaders from here in the state all the way to Washington, D.C. are calling it a huge success. That's next when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues. Once again, American Farm Bureau is helping startups by launching its annual Rural Entrepreneurship Challenge, the first national business competition focused exclusively on rural entrepreneurs working on food and agricultural businesses. Jessica Wharton has more.
The American Farm Bureau's 2016 Rural Entrepreneurship Challenge boosts local business in rural communities with startup funds, professional guidance, and publicity. Farm Bureau Rural Development Director Lisa Benson says the challenge also helps build small towns across the country.
The goal of the challenge is really to highlight innovation in rural communities. We found through research that one of the best ways to jumpstart a rural community, help it get on its feet, is by having good businesses that hire a lot of people and increase that tax base. So when companies are growing, also those communities are growing.
Farm Bureau has structured the application process to enhance and clarify business plans so that all participants benefit whether they win an award or not.
The idea is that hopefully going through the application process, you'll learn more about your idea. You'll be able to flesh out your idea. Our goal is to help you get a stronger business plan.
Benson says the challenge is open to all types of agribusinesses, from production ag to ag tech and breweries.
We're really open to all kinds of businesses across the supply chain, and we're excited to see what this year's crop of innovation comes up with.
For more information on the Rural Entrepreneurship Challenge, visit strongruralamerica.com/challenge. Jessica Wharton, Washington.
Finally today, the first ever Georgia Farm and Erosion Control Expo was now in the books, and judging from the reaction and attendance, it was a major success. Then again, when you have guests of honors like former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes and American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall, how could you go wrong? For starters, let's give credit where credit is due. The name of the event, the Georgia Farm and Erosion Control Expo. According to Cobb County Farm Bureau President Stan Kirk, that suggestion came from President Duvall himself, who on this day was making his first visit to Cobb County since becoming the leader of American Farm Bureau.
What a great partnership among great organizations that we see here today, and we're talking about something that's very important to all of us, not just farmers and ranchers and developers, but all our neighbors that live around us and our consumers.
The goal was mainly to promote agriculture, promote soil and erosion control, just to make sure people knew that they have resources here so that we can help them with that.
In addition to vendors from both Georgia and other parts of the country, the day also featured breakout sessions such as this one, conducted by UGA's Dr. George Boyhan, who spoke on the advantages of growing in a high tunnel. The Cobb County Extension Office was also in attendance, which according to Stan Kirk is a necessity when it comes to erosion control.
That's a valuable tool for us because a lot of people just don't know that the Extension Office exists, especially in an area like this where there's not a lot of farming. We had some soil and erosion control vendors talk about how to stop the spread of erosion, and we had the drones out here so you could see new technologies and just a lot of good options for the farmers and for the soil and erosion control and landscapers to see.
As mentioned, the other special guest and keynote speaker for the event was former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes, who spoke about the importance of agriculture and soil conservation activities to local and state economies.
It doesn't do any good to to feed the soil and to do all of the things we talk about unless you hold the nutrients where you put them and don't wash them down. They're expensive enough, and it's enough man hours and women hours of putting it down if you don't hold it on the soil that you're trying to build. And that's the reason that erosion control is even more appropriate, not only for the soil, but for the preservation of our water sources.
We are the greatest conservationists because we have to take care of the land. I think sometimes we lose focus on who all it involves, the impact that it has on the communities, whether it's urban areas or rural areas. It's a great program today that they have, particularly with the vendors here, that shows the different ways to be conservationists, which we are, and to be in an urban area. I think it's very, very important for these people in this area to see what not only agriculture, but the building industry and all the people that's involved with dealing with the land and land issues. I think it's a great, great day.
Yes, indeed. Great job by everyone involved in putting that together. Now, before we go, one other quick note. It is official. 15 states will now have a federal marketing order for pecans.
Yeah, Ray, 77% of the producers voted to support the marketing order. You can find all the information you need regarding this by logging on to pecanboard.com. And just a reminder for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week, everybody.